Hi, my babies. How are you? It's been a minute. I really have not been on social media talking as much since God knows when. I have just been taking some time to rest my mind, and God is so good though. But in the meantime of resting, God has been like telling me to talk about certain things, and also just been getting so much like wisdom and revelation. So I just wanted to share some of my testimony with you guys and ladies. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is basically how God changed my fashion sense, and how I started dressing a little bit more modest. And the background, so I have a fashion background. I went to fashion school. I went to three different fashion schools, one in Atlanta and two in London. And I studied fashion marketing, and I studied fashion buying, fashion business, fashion innovation, and technology, and all kinds of cool stuff. So I have some understanding. I grew up, watching fashion shows. I was living in New York as a little girl. And I knew about Fashion Week when I was a kid. I wanted to go to FIT. I wanted to, grow up to be a fashion designer. I've always had this understanding of like fashion is art and culture and all these things. I even, when I was a little girl, I used to watch Sex and the City with my aunt. No shade. Like now, I realized I had no business watching that show, but I was so young. I didn't really understand the conversations about the sex. I understood the conversations about the fashion, and watching that show, I would literally draw clothing, and I had my little sketchbook and blah, blah, blah. So that's like the foundation of my understanding of like fashion and creativity and expression through your clothing. And then there came a point in my life where I was like, okay, I'm getting mature, I'm getting curvy, I'm seeing my body form out. And I had actually moved from New York to the South, to Atlanta. And, I'm looking at all these beautiful black women. They're walking around with curves, and like they're showing off their curves. And I was just like, they look so beautiful. And also, Atlanta has a huge stripper culture. So, well, when I was there, it did, and it's like normal to go to the strip club to get wings. It's normal to go to the strip club to get dinner. It's normal to just like on a girls' night out, go to the strip club. And I always thought that was extremely like that's not what I was used to. Like I wasn't sexual all the time, but my environment was, and that's what I just grew up seeing. And after a while, I just thought in my mind, you're curvy, you show off your curves, and as like a teenager or like a young adult in my 20s, like, I thought that showing off my curves meant something, and I see like all these women and like on TV and pop culture showing off their bodies, showing off their belly button ring, showing off like their butt, showing off like even if they're fully dressed, like just wearing specific outfits that shows their curves and shows people like they got something going on down there and their boobs. And I just thought, oh, like this is what you're supposed to do. I wasn't dressing like a hoochie, but like I just thought, yeah, if you got it, you got to show it. Like, and anyways, getting to the point, I basically had an encounter with God. And this is like not something that happened overnight. This is something that took years, and God is still working on me. And one of the things that God did was like He convicted me. He showed me like how I am perceived when I dress a certain way, and He also showed me like how the way I dress impacts others. And He also showed me how He doesn't care for that, and how it doesn't help me as a woman and help my healing and help me grow dressing a certain way. So I don't know what I was thinking. I was very deceived, and I genuinely must have not loved myself enough. I think I was like a little bit looking for, even though I seemed very confident, I think I was looking for some type of validation, but also like I said, this is just what was the norm, and this is what people were doing around me. I'm not trying to say like in my family, but like just in my environment, in the city that I lived in, on TV, and the music videos that I watched, and all that. So it was very like easy to be like, okay, well, this is how I'm gonna dress, and you know, you're walking down the street and men are like honking their horn and they're screaming at you and chasing you down the street because they look at your curves. Like after a while you start to think, yeah, like this is the norm, this is how it's supposed to be. That is not how it's supposed to be. Granted, we cannot control what other people do, but like we can dress in a certain way that doesn't draw attention to our bodies in a sexual way. But yeah, men, even if some people were to dress fully clothed in a big tarp, people can still be like, like, I like the way you look. So it's not that, it's more so just like, what is my intentions on my outfit? What message am I trying to convey, and what am I trying to say here? Like, am I trying to turn heads? Am I dressing for Jesus? Like, do I want to please God with my outfit, or like, what am I saying? So one day, I have like all these different jackets that I have for the spring, and I'll never forget, like one day it took me forever to get outside. Like I remember I had to run errands, and I was like, all right, hurry up, put your clothes on and get outside. And I had like on a t-shirt and some leggings, and I was gonna just put on like a little quick bomber. And I knew that if I wore those leggings, it would draw a lot of attention, the wrong attention, because I had to walk down a long block. And yeah, if I'm walking down the street with these thin leggings and my butt out, yeah, it's going to draw a lot of attention from the wrong kind of people. And they're going to want to pursue me in a nasty way. And it was like I was trying to hurry up and get out the door and just run my errands. And my intentions were pure. I just want to hurry up and go, but God would not let me leave the house. And I just sat there and I was like, why am I so frustrated? Like, why can't I just go? And he was letting me know, like, you need to stop showing your behind. Like, you need to cover up, girl. Like, you're my daughter. Have some dignity, And I was like, wow. And he didn't say it like that. Like, God is so kind and so sweet. But basically, that's, in a nutshell, that's how I received it. And I was like, wow. And I had like this cute little jacket, and it just covers my butt. It's a cute little jacket, but it just covers my butt. And I was like, wow, you know what? I think I should cover my butt. And then after I thought that, I put the jacket on, and it's like all this heaviness fell off of me. And then it made me like I was sitting there at my doorway having a whole midlife crisis about like this whole thing. And I realized like, wow, like, why have I been dressing like that for so many years? Like, I'm a grown woman, and like, it doesn't even matter about age. It's like, why don't I value myself enough to want to cover up my private areas, even though I have clothing over it and it's like a thin layer over it? Why do I want people to see the accentuated parts? Like, why? God really was dealing with me